All right, so I was asking Spirit what message wanted to come across. And so today we are going to talk about the concept that being a psychic, being a channel, being a medium, all these things are not only attainable, they're skills in which that we all have, can possess, and can also work on to develop and hone. Okay? So what they're saying, and what I'm going to do right now, is I'm going to take a moment to actually plug completely in and have them articulate this message to you fully in spirit. So give me one moment to transition. The message we come here to deliver is one that may at first seem hard to believe. But the truth of the matter is that each and every one of you possess an innate ability, a special intuitive gift that allows you to perceive extrasensory information. Now, one of the things that your society and culture has thrown by the wayside that does not serve you is that if it cannot be proven, it does not exist. However, the definition that humans use to determine reality, or if something is real, if something is scientific, if something is a fact, does not take into account the vastness of reality. What can be proven by the now current scientific method, by the now current theories on existence and reality, and what exists beyond the perceived only five senses that are currently recognized in your society. By throwing out that which cannot be proven by the current methods available to humankind, by throwing everything else out, you are limiting the ability for you to perceive that which exists between the lines. So what they're wanting me to show you is this concept where, have you ever held up two of your fingers and then you focus not on finger one or finger two, but you focus right in between and another finger appears. So what they want to explain with that analogy is that perception is the determining factor for what you perceive reality to be. And what we mean by that is, now, with that finger analogy that we just demonstrated for you, are there one, two, or three fingers? Society, your culture, humankind, in its current state of existence would only recognize the two fingers. However, the reality is that because the third finger is in fact perceived, it does exist. Because if something is perceived, it by definition exists. What we want you to know is that everything is energy. Everything is frequency. Everything is a vibration. It's just a matter of the density and the speed at which that energy is moving. We perceive that which is more dense to be more real. This is a fallacy. Because in fact, it is the invisible energy of the universe, of creation, that propels that which we claim to be real, provable, organic and non-organic formulations that you can manipulate in the tangible. We want you to see that this table is energy, frequency, and the vibration of those frequency, of that concentration, of energetic potency being breathed into life. So, just as God breathed us into life, as is said in the Bible, that analogy is saying the breath of life, the Holy Spirit, that which animates the body temple with the consciousness of life, that exists in the material world. Even that which is man-made is also divinely crafted and coordinated. Because, and here's what we want you to understand. If you were to be able to see light at the frequency in which we perceive it, you would be able to resonate with the concept that everything is energy and everything is manipulatable. And that includes the energy and frequency of those who have passed, of supernatural, spiritual, metaphysical information is available to all. It is just a matter of tapping in to that frequency. Many people have a misconception that speaking to the other side involves being taken over. It involves not being in control. It involves dark and nefarious entities and energies. The reality is, if you want to develop your skills as a medium, a psychic, a clairvoyant, any of what you call and recognize as the clairs, it is not a matter of whether or not you have the ability or not. It is a matter of, are you tapped into that frequency? Have you done the work to clear the traumas, the lower level vibrational energies, such, again, as trauma, anger, fear, rage, comparison, jealousy? Have you done the work so that you are a clear and open portal for divine channeled information? How do you do this? Most of you ask. If I'm not born like this, then how do I tap into that information and use it in my own life or to help others? Here's something that is so simple, and we know that it's been hit over your head over and over again, but we're going to explain it in a different way. The key to this work is emptying your mind, body, soul, and spirit of anything that is not of light and love. You have to get into, this is what they want us to know. They want you to know. The process of getting into a meditative state does a number of things. Okay? First, it quiets the mind so you can hear yourself clearly. And they want me to tell you that when they say, we want you to hear yourself clearly, we do not mean that in which you identify with as your ego. Your ego is not the voice in which you are wanting to listen for. The voice in which you are wanting to listen for is that higher version of yourself, that soul part of you, that consciousness that exists and will always exist and has always existed. Michael Singer has a great way. Gary, and I cannot remember his last name, but the seat of the soul, and Michael Singer talks about it in his book Untethered. So essentially, what we are talking about in this situation is that the reason meditation is extremely pivotal if you want to develop your psychic skills and your ability to channel extrasensory information. The reason why meditation is so important and pivotal is because it's training you to listen and decipher. So if you're sitting there asking to channel light and love, and then all you hear is messages which are cruel, are criticizing you, are negative, are pessimistic, it's because your channel is not clear. When you set the intention to be an open portal, an open channel for the other side, to connect with spirits, angels, guides, loved ones, you have to be so clear, and you get that way through the process and practice of meditation. You have to be so clear that you can tell if that was your ego. Your ego is saying, I'm not as good as that person. That is not spirit, that is ego. A trick that I like to tell people is ego is an alarmist. Ego is going to say, I can never do that. They're a totalitarian, or defeatist. I could never do that. There's no way that's going to happen. There's no way that person's going to say that. There's no way everybody's going to be in the vibration of light and love. That is never spirit. So in contrast to ego, spirit is going to send you positive message. They are going to be calm, cool, collected. The voice of spirit is as if this too shall pass. We're feeling this too shall pass. This too shall pass. This is just the way it is. It's beautiful. It's unconditional. That is the message from spirit. Okay. So meditation allows you to be that open channel. It allows you to take that seat of the soul approach and be the observer of the information you're getting, instead of the information being identified with you. So the way that I crafted this skill for myself, and they want me to tell you this story, is I would just sit down with a piece of paper and a pen, and I would ask questions. What should I do about this situation? And then I would just write. And at first it was, Mary had a little lamb, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is so stupid. I'm never going to hear anything. But after I got those things, the first couple times I did it, after I got myself out of the way with just saying whatever doubts were coming up, the fluidity of it, and the conversational and the information I was being provided, the words I was using that I even had to look up, the flow, the melody of it. I even change. I have more of a blocked writing style, and what they'll do is they'll change it to cursive. So it's a matter of getting in there, and trusting the information and trusting that you will be able to decipher truth from that which is false. So they want me to go back to meditation. Another thing that meditation does that prepares you for utilizing these extrasensory gifts and abilities is it gets you into your theta and your beta brave wavelengths. And that is very similar to when you're asleep, because our subconscious is taking a break. Our hyper conscious, hyper focused conscious, our ego, has calmed down. It's almost like the parts of our brain that have gone to sleep are the ones that typically get up and press cruise control, and they're the ones kind of running the show, until you've done the work. So that's not the case, but for most people, that's the reality. They want me to give you an example of Tyler Henry, who is the Hollywood medium. He recently went in to have his brain studied. So they hooked him up to the EEG and had him do a channeled message. And while he was in his channel state, his brain was completely asleep. They were saying there's no reason why you should be conscious and talking right now, because your brain has completely gone to sleep. There's no activity, where we would tend to see activity if someone was awake or conscious. So, for me, I knew that intuitively, but that information confirms confirms it even more for me, because it allows the parts of our programming, our DNA, the human technology of the body, that there are certain systems that kick on and off, depending on whether or not you're in theta or beta. And that is pivotal so that you can be a less partial portal, a less partial channel, because you are not able to get in the way. So they want me to tell you that meditation is really the key. It's just like working out. You got to start off small, and then you can work up. So if 1 minute is difficult for you, great. Do 1 minute for a week, and then go to a minute and a half, and then go 2. Go at your own pace. Don't get frustrated. Know that every single time you are working out that muscle, you are preparing yourself to be a more potent spiritual force. Okay, so let's see. We feel complete with that. So the next subject that we want to talk about when it comes to anything like psychic skill development or medium skill development, or any of the clairs, or just working with your own intuition. Please do not be discouraged because you think humans are designed to compare. But the truth is, there is not one of you who is better than the other. It's just difference. Everyone is special and unique, but we're all humans. If you see somebody with spiritual gifts that you want, that is telling you that you can achieve that. If you seek something, there is something in you who knows that that is your birthright. That is what you were meant for. So instead of looking at jealousy as they have that gift and I don't, look at it like, wow, I'd really like to develop that gift. I'm going to set an intention to be a psychic medium, to be telepathic, to be an empath. I'm going to set the intention to do that, and then I'm going to co-create with the universe, showing them how serious I am by taking workshops or classes or courses, or having a bunch of people over for wine night and doing readings for people as practice. They want you to know it is enough to have the intention, the belief that it's possible, and as you make the affirmative steps in congruence with your intention, belief, and desires, the universe will come and co-create that reality for you. It's really that simple. So the message for today is everyone has these gifts inside of you. We all have these gifts. It's a matter of both doing the internal work and proactively working to hone these skills that you desire, along with really, really getting serious about prioritizing the inner journey, excavating the inner landscape, so that the messages that you receive from the other side are pure and untainted. Looks like that's all I want to say. Just in debriefing from that, I wanted to add a little message, and that is, if you look at the people who you admire with spiritual gifts, things that you might compare yourself to, or that you're jealous of, or that you desire, or I'm not good enough to have that, they're special. When those voices come up, and they've been coming up for me my entire time on this, I want to remind you, I am 40 years old, and I just started developing my skills seriously for the last 3 or 4 years, and I've been on this path for 10, but it happened so quickly because there's a momentum. You put the intention out into the world. You make congruent, inspired steps based on inspired actions to achieve that goal. And the quantum shifts that have happened between me pairing the internal journey, the internal work, with proactive development of my skills and congruent, inspired action, the growth that I've had over the last few years is unrecognizable, and honestly, I still have a hard time believing it. And now, I'm a full-time practicing psychic advisor. So I want to give you hope. I want you to not get discouraged. I want you to know how powerful you are. And don't give up on yourself. Don't compare yourself. Work with Source, work with Spirit, and you will be unstoppable. Don't ever let somebody else make you feel less than, because you're just not as far along as they are. Trust the process.